So a little bit about Robert's Rules. Robert's Rules really came off Robert's Rules of Order, which I hope you all know about. A little booklet that was created in 1876 by an American, I believe, Army general who had conducted a meeting, and the meeting was an absolute chaos. And he was a process, structured, oriented guy, and he says, never again. So he created this little booklet called Robert's Rules of Order on how you conduct a meeting. So when you go to any board meeting today, the meeting's being opened, they share the minutes in the agenda, they will have a discussion, a proposal, they say aye, all in favor. That all came from Robert's Rules of Order. Now, just like the meetings, I was convinced after being all these years in innovation space that you need a structured, repeatable process to create and sustain innovation in business organizations and organizations in general. So let me share with you these 10 imperatives of Robert's Rules. The first imperative is really inspire. And this is one of the most, it happens to be the first imperative, but I think the most important one to get it all underway. And the first thing there is that the CEO, the leader of the organization, has to be the Chief Innovation Officer. There is no if, but, or maybe about it. This person has to lead, walk the talk, and be engaged. It cannot be delegated. Now, granted, I would venture to say that you as business leaders have to still lead the innovation efforts on a different level, but the CEO has to first stand behind it and walk the talk. Because if that doesn't happen, the people who work for you won't believe in what you're saying and what you're trying to achieve. Now, this doesn't happen by itself. You need to have a charismatic and an inspirational leader, but it starts with a vision, mission, and strategy. That all has to be aligned around a culture of innovation. Because if you create that, if you have the vision, mission, and strategy, you will get the resources that you need, time and money, because the budgets are based on the strategy. And ultimately, you will look at your measurements, your KPIs, and your reward system will be all tied in. So it starts with the leader and this key system of vision, mission, strategy to create an innovation culture that churns and creates and delivers. Now let me give you a great example. If you think about the Kohler brand in plumbing and American Standard, what do you think about when you hear or see Kohler? It's all about quality and design. That's not by accident. Herb Kohler, private owner of a couple billion-dollar company, still chairs the monthly new product development meeting. What do you think that says to the organization? That means it's important to the man. You know, it's that important that he chairs it. He's all over you when we don't deliver, and he's involved in every design and every aspect. There is not a Kohler product, I can guarantee you, where he hasn't had his touch on. But that just shows you the difference. It's total commitment. And I took that model and I applied it to airspray. And that's why we were able to make this commitment and deliver on innovation. So the key thing, what is essential with this inspiration, is your definition of innovation, a strong communication strategy, because you have to really spread the word in the gospel and really share the messages on what the successes and the failures are, so people know what is going on. You create with that the culture. And last but not least, a commitment. And the commitment can be as simple as saying at least one innovation per year. When I was CEO of Airspray, this is the mantra that we had accepted. And we were a public company, very small, in Amsterdam on the stock exchange. We said to our shareholders and the analysts, at least one new product per year. And we were doing $10, $15 million a year, and we had these little foam pumps. We had to create the next generations. But it only could be done, and we delivered it, because we had this process that we applied.